money and perhaps employment who are facing these attacks from the militants. We'll keep a track of that story. Talking more about the valley and what's happening, the 23-member European Parliament delegation. It will be returning to the national capital after visiting Jammu and Kashmir to assess this, after assessing that ground situation. Now, this is 85 days after the abrogation of Article 370. 4 of the lawmakers, they dropped out of Kashmir visit amidst the backlash. The MPs were taken to the army headquarters where they were briefed on the security situation. They also met members of the BJP. Top police civil officials told the lawmakers that people have been yearning for peace, but the terrorists have been continuously threatening them. The visit sparked a fresh controversy, with many opposition leaders questioning the government's intent by blocking Indian lawmakers and taking foreign delegation and thereafter internationalizing the matter.
The terrorism is mostly financed by Pakistan and by other Muslim countries. The terrorism is mostly financed by Pakistan and by other Muslim countries.
Mufti is with us on the broadcast. Mufti, why don't you give us a perspective? How was this visit? How was this day like for these 23 MPs who later agreed to participate because a couple of them dropped out?
Look, we know the Congress has said that this is kind of a self-goal by the BJP government in Delhi, given that they have now internationalized the issue. I was looking at the newspapers today, and there have been statements, four of them, whether they're from Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, or for that matter, the National Conference out here, which has called it a PR stunt.
Yes.
The PDP has said that, well, the real facts on the ground have been concealed by this visit. Because Centre is trying to portray a false sense of normalcy, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And clearly the UN statement says that, well, there is still curbs in the valley and Government of India must act very fast to lift them. So what is the benefit of really allowing a foreign delegation when you are inviting so much of a criticism? Clearly, it seems to be a diplomatic faux pas. And already, as I said, that many are saying that it's a PR disaster which has happened by allowing these European Union delegations to come to the valley. Look what has happened. The sequence of events is that they come at the Srinagar airport, go into secured army cantonment, and then in a highly secured hotel where they meet people who have been handpicked by the government. So these people didn't actually stop at a market, talk to the real civil society players, or for that matter, people associated with tourism or industry or chambers. So clearly, there's a lot of criticism than there should have been benefits for the government of India. So it's an exercise which has gone extremely wrong, Anusha.
Absolutely, Mufti. It was perhaps something that had invited a lot of criticism, even from different quarters of the BJP itself. Thank you so much for getting at that story. And multiple reactions have been coming in on the story. The likes of Ghulam Nabi Azad, Asauddin Owaisi, Khalid Jahangir have spoken. Let's listen in.
25, 75%, 85% टेलीफोन नहीं चलते हैं और आज के वक्त में इंटरनेट के बगैर टेलीफोन की जीरो कीमत है। तो इस तरह से ये यूरोपियन यूनियन को भेजकर हिंदुस्तान के पार्लियामेंट का अपमान हुआ है, हिंदुस्तान की जनता का अपमान हुआ है जिनके वो प्रतिनिधि हैं, हिंदुस्तान के लीडरों का, राजनीतिक दलों का अपमान हुआ है।
प्राइवेट एमपीज अपनी कैपेसिटी में आते हैं और प्रधानमंत्री उनसे मिलते हैं और उनसे कहते हैं कि इन्वेस्टमेंट का क्लाइमेट है, आयुष्मान भारत। अरे ये तो ऑफिशियल डेलीगेशन है ही नहीं। इन्होंने जो 370 का फैसला लिया वो इंटरनेशनल लेवल पर भी लोग उसको कबूल नहीं कर रहे हैं। और दूसरा, मैंने शुरू से उसकी मुखालिफत की, अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है ये। अब ये देखिए, डेस्परेशन दिख रहा है, शर्मिंदगी सबको हो रही है। क्यों ऑफिशियल डेलीगेशन जब है ही नहीं तो आपने क्यों बुलाया उनको? और ऐसे लोगों को जो मुसलमानों से, इस्लाम से हेटरेट करते हैं, जो हिटलर को चाहने वाले हैं ओपनली, इसमें से कई एमपी ऐसे हैं जो हिटलर को चाहने वाले हैं।
What is the purpose, do you think, for this particular private visit which has been arranged for this delegation?
Well, this is not the first time that European parliamentary members are going to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, especially in the Kashmir Valley. They had been coming for the last 20 years. They just come there and visit the people. I think today also they have visited Valley. They are meeting a lot interaction of a lot of people, including the students. I think they should know that what's happening in Jammu and Kashmir, and it is not. It will clear the clouds that it's not government of India stopping anyone to come to state of Jammu and Kashmir. Political, business, and bureaucratic nexus should be exposed. This is what Kashmiri young generation wants, and I think the day is coming when these leaders who hoodwink people for their own sultanates will come to an end.
This, far from being an ace diplomatic move, as some supporters of the government are trying to portray it, has actually been a very serious self-goal, because India has consistently taken the position that we don't require any international certificates for our conduct in any part of our own territory, that if we have problems we'll resolve them democratically ourselves, that there's nothing that an external political group or a parliamentarians group can do to justify, explain or otherwise approve what happens within a state of our country. Here instead, by sending these people to Jammu and Kashmir to take a look at it and seeking presumably some sort of good housekeeping certificate from them, the government is actually internationalizing the issue in a way that it keeps claiming it had no intention of doing. And I don't understand the logic behind this, because frankly, it is a mistake. It is a mistake that we have not committed for so long, and now to do it in this way, and that too at a time when others, especially Indian MPs, are not allowed to go, smacks of completely unconvincing opportunism. I think the rest of the world is going to focus even more on how much we have to hide and how much PR the government seeks to do to conceal its own ineffective policies in Kashmir.
Mufti continues to be with us on the broadcast. Mufti, if I were to ask you the breakdown of the itinerary of yesterday of these 23 MPs, how did it look like? Which were the key areas they visited? There was also the board exams yesterday of thousands of students. Take us through how the day really panned out.
Look, once they landed here in Srinagar, they were quickly ensconced into army cantonment, that is Srinagar Badami Bagh, where the Corps Commander's office is. Now, thereafter, what happened was that they went into a five-star hotel where they started meeting these delegations, which were handpicked by the government. Now, look at the delegations. One of the delegation members were the recently successful candidates of Block Development Council election people. Then you had people from the BJP. You had, ex-servicemen who had come in. There was no political leader. National Conference didn't represent. The PDP didn't represent. Sajad Loans Party, People's Conference didn't represent. The Traders Association didn't represent. The civil society members who I was in touch with, they were not invited. The National Conference leadership would come all the way from Delhi, the two MPs, Justice Masoodi as well as Akbar Lonewood, MPs from Anantnag and Baramulla. They'd come flown from Delhi to Srinagar to make themselves available for a meeting. They were not allowed to meet. There was no access given to common people. These people didn't stop at a market. They didn't talk to students, as Mr. Khalid Jahangir was portraying that they've gone to meet students.
Yeah.
There's not one single student delegation whom this delegation met. So clearly, all they did was that they had a ball of a time. They sailed on the Dal Lake, and then had a lovely food and all. That is at least what these leadership here in the valley are saying. So clearly it was an exercise which went extremely wrong, and we've seen it. Yesterday you and me were talking about this.
Yeah.
It was a kind of a faux pas. Internationally, I think, as Shashi Tharoor pointed it out, it didn't serve well, and in fact there would be more focus on Kashmir, as the UN statement which has come today has clearly suggested that there are more curbs in Kashmir, and those curbs need to be lifted, whether it is on the internet, whether it's on communication, whether it is even on people's movement or restoring education in the valley. So
Yeah.
clearly, Iltija Mufti, who's Mahbooba Mufti's daughter and who tweets now and then, had
Yeah.
said that, the government of the day chose a day when there were board examinations and
Yeah.
thousands of students were writing exams,
Yeah.
so that the traffic plies. So it was a kind of a false sense of normalcy that this delegation was given.
All right. Mufti, thank you so much for getting us that perspective from the valley. And clearly, there's a lot of criticism that has happened. The government had hoped that it would correct the perception. A certain section of the Western media was something that was reporting, and the government of India had objected to that. Let's see how this pans out, because those MPs are set to address the media as well when they reach the national capital. We're slipping into a very short break. News and updates will continue